Namaskar. Very warm welcome to all the viewers and learners in this very special live interaction of CIET and NCERT based on virtual labs. I am Renu Bhatt with you all and you are watching us live on PM eVidya channels from channel number 6 to 12. Apart from all these channels, you are with us on our YouTube channels as well, that is NCERT Official. NCERT PM eVidya class number 6 to 12. And dear viewers, as you can see, I am accompanied by our sign language interpreter. Let's meet her. You are Miss Sonal Sidhu. Very warm welcome, Sonal. And this session is for computer science 12th standard students, and the topic that we are going to discuss today in this specific session is demonstration of a simulation on simple interest, and we are going to learn how virtual lab can support and enhance computer science learning, and we are joined by our expert to throw more light on this particular topic. So without any further delay, let's quickly meet her. You are Ms. Shweta Bhardwaj. You are consultant technical from CIET and NCERT New Delhi. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, and a very warm welcome to all our learners.
And before we proceed further and start this particular discussion, let me share some certain information to all the viewers out there, not only students, even for the teachers. In case you have any query related to this particular topic or you want to know more about virtual labs, you can reach out to us through our various mediums. We really want you to call us on our telephone number. It's 8800-440-559. Either you can drop a query and feedback on our email address. It's diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. And in case you have joined us through our live streaming, then you have to go to the live chat box and then only you can drop your comments out there. So our expert will be more than happy to answer all your queries and doubts if you have any. So we want you to participate in this live interaction in huge numbers. So let's quickly start this session. And at the very beginning of this session, Shweta ma'am, we want you to give us a brief overview about this particular topic, what we are going to learn in this specific session, ma'am.
Hanji, so in today's session, we are going to understand how we can implement a Python program using virtual labs on Diksha to calculate simple interest. So many of you must be wondering that why we are discussing a mathematical concept in computer science. So we are also going to see that how computer science connects and takes real life problems and convert them into logical step-by-step programs to calculate the solutions instantly. So without any further delay, let me also apprise the learners about the concept of simple interest and how we can convert this mathematical idea into a program. So I would like to tell the users that simple interest is the extra amount earned on the initial amount, which we call as principal. So for simple interest, basically we take three core elements: principal, rate of interest and time. Principal is the initial amount, R stands for rate of interest for which interest has to be calculated, and time is the duration. It can be any number of years, and for every year simple interest remains the same because it is being calculated on this principal. So the mathematical formula for calculating simple interest is we take principal, we multiply with rate of interest, time, and then we divide the value by 100. So this mathematical idea is being converted into logical step-by-step solution using a Python programming language. All we have to take three inputs from the user: principal, rate and time. So how we do it? We define variables. We know that for taking inputs from the user, input keyword is used in Python. So we can write enter principal, for which we have to calculate the simple interest. Now this function returns string value which cannot calculate any numbers. So this has to be converted, or we can say typecasted, into something on which calculations can be done. Since we know that principal can be into whole numbers or decimal also. So here we are using a keyword float. So likewise, we are going to take all these values from the user and we are going to make the formula like this. So in Python, instead of multiplication, we make use of asterisk mathematical operator, which stands for multiplication. So we are going to multiply all these values and we are going to divide it by 100. And then we can, simply print the result or show the output using this print keyword. So like this, we can convert this mathematical formula into a program which can solve real life problems. Yes.
Okay, so this is what we are going to learn in this specific session. And ma'am, how we can log into virtual labs, ma'am?
Yes, so it is interesting to know. Now we know that what we have to do today. Let me show all the steps. So what we have to do, we have to go on Google and we can simply type diksha.gov.in. The very first link if we type is this link. So we just have to click and it will take us to the home page of Diksha focus areas. So just scroll it down a bit and you can see, you can find the focus areas. And here we have virtual labs. So simply by clicking on this focus area, we are going to land on the index page of virtual labs, which is the storehouse of the learning material. So if you will scroll down, you can also get to know about virtual labs and how integrating virtual labs. It is a policy, NEP 2020, specially emphasizing. It is going to make learning more experiential and engaging. So when we scroll down, the learners can see that we have content categorized according to grades. And today our topic is from class 12th. So if we are going to click on computer science, it will take us to the lab manual of grade 12 where we have all the contents listed. So there are a lot of contents. Apart from lab manuals, there are additional programs also. And if we are going to scroll down like this, we are going to find today's topic, which is simple interest. So okay, let me click here. Sometimes it tells you to complete your profile if you have not complete your profile.
Okay.
So that is fine. By following simple steps, you can just do it. So here is our topic. Now Renuji, it is very beneficial apart from classroom teaching if we integrate these virtual labs because it is structured into 3 categories: pre-lab session, performance lab session and post-lab session. So you can see 2 resources, explanation resources and learning resources. If we can click on explanation resources, it is showing us that we have theory, procedure. So if a learner is not familiar with the concept, they can simply go on theory and they can get to know what is the objective of this program to calculate simple interest for given principal amount. It is also showing the mathematical formula if user is not apprised, and also that what symbol is meant for what. So if we are going to scroll down, you can also see that learning outcomes is also mentioned. That apart from learning how to calculate simple interest, it is also making the learner familiar with basic arithmetic operators, that how to do multiplication, division, addition in Python. So by this, after understanding the theory of it, we can also go to procedure. Now procedure is step-by-step conversion of simple English language. It is showing that we have to take amount, Y stands for number of years, and rate of interest from the user. Applying this formula, it is going to calculate simple interest. And it is also showing the keywords which we generally use in Python, which I already told that input function is used to take some amount from the user. So all these variables will be taken by the user and will be saved in these variables. Now these variables are user defined. It is not mandatory that you have to take these variables only. You can take P instead of amount, T instead of Y, and so on. And after calculating the simple interest, we just have to display the result to the user. Now why are we converting this formula into this program? Because if we bank lends money to n number of users, it is not possible to calculate for every user manually. So all we are doing is automating the entire process to do the conversions instantly. So now it's time to see that how this explanation resources can strengthen our concept. And in the learning resources, like I told, that we have performance lab session, which is going to expose the user how to do it using the virtual labs. So it is going to make the difference if we are teaching the concept in normal class. You know, the student is only going to mug up the code. They will not understand that how changing the values can make difference in the result. So now let me show. It is loading now, and that how you know, everything is controlled environment. Now let's have a look at the user interface. Now this user interface is divided between so many sections. This section shows the source code which we normally write in Python programming language.
Okay.
Now we know that computer understands only 0 and 1. So this code is also being converted into machine language behind the scene. Now the middle section is the control section for controlling all these variables. And the right side is showing the state transition graph. You can also see that we have buttons for our help. We have reset button, we have help button, and we have maximize button. So if user gets stuck at any point, we just have to click on help, and it shows that first user is prompted to enter the values separated by comma. So let's assume that we have the principal amount as 1000, and let's take the rate of interest or maybe time as 2 years, and for 5% rate of interest. Now it is very important to understand that in control section, it's completely up to the user that how many variables they have to take. Let's take amount, all these variables one by one, y, rate of interest, simple interest, and also counter variable I. And then we have to submit it. And then in the right side, we have this state transition diagram, which is going to show that how step by step we can change the values. So now if we don't know what to do next, we simply have to click on help. It is showing that select the variables which we have already done. Now we have to click on start. So then it is going to generate the values step by step. Initially it is showing that 1000 is the principal for which we have to calculate the rate of interest. Now we have to click on next. Now in the next state, it is showing that the time period is going to be 2 years, and gradually it is also reflecting that the rate of interest is 5% per annum, and the next transition is generated that the variable of I is taking value 1. Now it will start multiplying it one by one. So now the next state which we got is generating simple interest as 50, and now we have to calculate it for 2 years. So now it is going from 50 to calculate it to 100. With every step the values are being incremented, and it is completely showing that how line by line which Python statement is being executed and which is the correct output. So Renuji, can you see that it is showing 100 as the simple interest? So that's how we can calculate simple interest using virtual labs.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So that was about the virtual lab. And ma'am, how can it guarantee safe experimentation, ma'am?
Yes.
Could you please explain?
I'll explain that, you know, we have seen, you know, that whenever we are dealing with virtual labs environments, whatever changes we are making in our computer, it is not going to affect. Like virtual labs is completely safe sandbox environment. So it is not going to make any difference in your system. Either you are practicing the concept of database, where you have to, you know, make changes in the variables and values. It is not going to reflect in our computer system. And generally it is a, you know, apprehension of all the learners. Whenever we are doing anything in computer science, you will also agree to me, whenever we get any prompt, any you know, pop-up, we get scared that what this message is conveying to us. So we don't have to be scared, and we have to keep on, you know, following the process one by one.
Okay. Yeah. So ma'am, virtual labs are definitely a great tool for students.
Yes.
Not only for students, for teachers as well, for assessment, right?
Yes.
So can you throw light on this, why it's good for teachers as well?
Yes, let me show you that why it is good for, because we have the assessment part also. It is showing little glitch. Let me, we have to load it again basically.
Okay.
Let me do the steps. Sometimes you have, when you do not have completed your profile, it shows you
Okay.
that first complete your profile. So that is fine. Users can take some time out for completing the profile. And
So what's that process actually?
yeah, the process is just to enter your login details, your names, credentials.
Okay.
So let me show that how self-evaluation is also one of the important component of virtual labs, which is going to be very useful for the teachers. So let me show that whenever we have taught any concept in the class, the learning does not stop here. We have to, we have to see that how much student is grasping. So for example, we have told a module. Now let me show you. After completing the performance lab session, it shows some multiple choice questions, and your student can read the question that what is this formula, which we have already done in the session. So like this, learner can also check their understanding, that what input function is used in Python to take the input. So like this, it is not only going to strengthen the concept, but also making the learner more confident that yes, I have understood the concept well, and they can also ask more questions in the classroom. So like this.
Okay. So ma'am, virtual labs are learner driven in nature. What do you think should be the ideal role of a teacher in such an environment, ma'am?
Very true, you have used the right word, learner driven. So when the virtual labs are learner centric, then the question arises that what is the role of a teacher now? So the role of teacher is very crucial here, because they have to work as mentor and facilitator. It's not just traditional teaching and learning in your classroom. You have to take your learners to Diksha virtual lab repository, make them experiment, because learning only becomes powerful when you apply it. So only reading in the classroom does not suffice learning. You have to come to virtual labs focus area, you have to practice more and more. And then only I think we can, raise a generation of thinkers rather than only, followers.
Okay. So ma'am, what else you want to share with all our viewers, ma'am, all these students out there who wants to know more about virtual lab, how they can use virtual lab for computer science, ma'am?
Yes, so I think for computer science, it is very crucial to do the experiment. Like we have, discussed this particular simple interest program here. So learning again doesn't stop here. We have learned how to calculate simple interest. What you can do, you can enhance your programs by, calculating the further amount. That you can print the total amount by adding simple interest with the principal. So, what you can do, never stop at any point. Keep on experimenting, keep on exploring to make your learning engaging and experiential. So, that is what I want to tell all the learners.
Okay. So, ma'am, any student, like virtual lab, it's a very plus point for virtual lab. Any student can perform any experiment endless time, right? So, what they need to keep in their mind by the time they'll use virtual labs? Is there something they need to keep in their mind? Any tip for that?
So yes, a very useful tip for all the learners is that when you perform experiments in virtual labs, like we have shown you, that there is no limitation of choosing the variables. Whenever you are experimenting, you can also devise your own steps, because in computer science, like mathematics, there is not just one way of solve any problem. So whenever you take inspiration from virtual labs, take the idea, then I will suggest that also try to implement it according to your own logics and interest. You can just change the number of variables. Like I can also show it again. We discuss simple interest, and when we are discussing the simulation, I showed you that in the center we have the control section. So when you are doing programs in this control sections, you can also change number of variables there. That okay, let me take one variable, how it is going to change the complete output. So I think this way it can be more interesting. Yes.
Okay, so this was for students, and what about the teachers, ma'am?
Yes, for teachers, I think they have to integrate virtual labs in their day-to-day teaching and learning. Whenever any computer science teacher teaches programming in the classroom, so we try to take the help of dry runs, and sometimes it is not possible to take the queries of all the 40 students in limited time period. So virtual lab is a complete package, which is, I told you that it is in pre-lab session, performance lab sessions and post-lab session. So once the student is aware of the topic.
So Viva is also there, right?
Viva is also there, and it is very important from examination point of view. So as exams are approaching, they can take the help of virtual labs to, clear all their doubts. And after clearing the doubts, they can also ask more questions to the teachers. So it is going to make learning holistic, I would say.
Okay, definitely. All these things make learning holistic, and it's time for us to wrap up this session. But Shweta ma'am, would you like to add something or say something at the last, in the end of this
Yes,
session?
I would love to say to all the learners that keep exploring, keep experimenting, and continue your learning curve with the help of virtual labs on Diksha. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much, Shweta ma'am, for this insightful session. Thank you so very much for your all this information, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. And definitely virtual labs are there to help you out, to all the students and teachers out there. You can experiment, you can perform experiment anytime at your ease. So it's for you only. You need to explore a virtual labs. We would really appreciate if you share your feedback as well. Our email address is diksha.training@ciet.nic.in. And before I wrap up this session, let me share all about all the programs and sessions that we have for you throughout the day. And at 12 p.m. we will be back with our another live interaction for teaching learning intervention for inclusive classrooms. We have maths first standard students. The topic is what is long, what is round, and followed by 12:45 p.m. we will be having our another special training session. It's understanding autism spectrum disorder. 2 p.m. we will be having our another live interaction for Urdu first standard students. Our topic will be Achhi Chidiya, followed by Hindi first standard students, Phuli Roti. At 3 p.m. English second standard students, we have our live interaction for seeing without seeing. This would be the topic, followed by math second standard students, data handling part second. At 4 p.m. we will be back with our webinar series, and 5 p.m. we will be having our another live interaction, special interaction, Sahyog. The topic would be My Score Is Not Me, Identity Beyond Marks. We want you to participate in all these live interaction with all your queries and doubts. And for tomorrow's virtual lab, we have our topic demonstration of simulation on reaction between an acid, a base to show the process of neutralization. And this session would be for Science 7 standard students. Me, Renu Bhatt, is taking your leave, but you stay tuned to PM eVidya channels for more informative programs. Namaskar.